Since 2007, Naperville Sports Weekly has provided coverage of all high school sports and teams in the area. This week's show marks over 850 episodes of NSW. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Joe Kennedy. We saw Naperville North football win a thriller at Bolingbrook with a last-second field goal. Let's see how the Huskies do this week back home against Neuqua Valley. We kick off DuPage Valley Conference play at Naperville North High School as the Huskies host the Neuqua Valley Wildcats. The Huskies come into this game off a thrilling 51-49 win against the Bolingbrook Raiders. The Wildcats are looking to bounce back after losing 35-7 last week at the Lincoln Way East Griffins. Huskies quarterback Jacob Bell looks to put North on the board. He throws a quick slant pass to Brock Petaway, but he gets stopped by Andrew Hoffman on third down. They go on to attempt a field goal, but it would be wide off the mark. The Wildcats turn on offense, and quarterback Keith Trong throws a deep pass, but Luke Williams makes a one-handed interception, and the Huskies get the ball back. However, the Huskies couldn't get anything going on offense thanks to the Wildcats' defense, and now it's fourth down. They set up to punt, and it gets blocked by linebacker RJ Ugas, and he sets up the Wildcats in scoring position. The Huskies' defense shut down the Wildcat offense to a 3-and-out possession, and Neuqua goes for the field goal. Easton Taylor steps up and nails this kick from 40 yards out, and the Wildcats take a 3-0 lead going into halftime. We enter the third quarter, and the Wildcats still lead 3-0. The Huskies have possession here, and Bell throws a dime to Williams for a 46-yard gain, and he gets the first touchdown of the night. The Huskies lead 7-3. The Wildcats are looking to respond, but Trong looks downfield and his pass gets intercepted by Williams for his second pick of the game. However, on the next play, Bell scrambles to avoid the sack and looks for an open receiver. He throws and he's picked off by William Beeman, and he makes a 46-yard return the other way. Some back and forth action from both defenses in the third. Trong hands the ball off to Wildcat running back Silvano Spadafora, and he walks in for the 5-yard touchdown. The Wildcats are back in front 10-7 as we close out the third quarter. Quarterback Ryan Muller enters the game, and he decides to keep it himself and scores to extend the lead 17-7. Under 3 minutes to go, and the Huskies trying to get back into the game in the red zone. Quarterback Carson Muller enters the contest and makes a stellar pass in tight coverage to Williams for the first down. Marler looks to keep the drive alive, but it's a bad snap over his head. He picks the ball up and slings this one, but Hoffman is there with the interception to seal the win for the Wildcats. They bounce back and get their first win in conference play on the road with a 17-7 win over the Huskies. After surrendering their first loss of the season last week against IC Catholic, the Bennett Red Wings are on the road facing another undefeated team, the Montini Catholic Broncos. This is the first meeting between these schools since 2009, a game the Broncos won 43-6. On the first drive of the game, QB Gaetano Carbonara rolls to his right and throws it right into the hands of Red Wing Daniel Flores. The early turnover gives the Red Wings great field position less than a minute into the game. After advancing the ball inside the 10-yard line, Flores is back on the field for a field goal attempt. The snap is good, and Flores sends it through the uprights for the first score of the game. 3-0 Bennett 3 minutes into play. On the next Broncos drive, they're faced with a 3rd and long. Carbonara drops back as Declan Walsh gets around the edge and brings him down for the sack. The Red Wings defense keeps Montini scoreless through one quarter. Now into the second quarter, Montini has possession with just under 30 seconds to go in the half. Carbonara throws one deep downfield where Rocky Rosanova is waiting for the interception. He's able to return the ball into Bronco territory, handing the ball over to the Bennett offense with 15 seconds on the clock in the first half. In search of some last-second points before halftime, Brian Kubacki Jr. looks to his left and launches a deep jump ball down the sideline to Rosanova. It's deflected out of the hands of Rosanova and right into the breadbasket for Pat Patello. He's the first player to cross the goal line thanks to a 45-yard heave from Kubacki Jr. It's 10-0 Bennett going into halftime. Now with a little over 2 minutes to go in the third, Santino Florio catches a screen pass, eludes a trio of Red Wing defenders, and then speeds down the sideline with one man to beat. He crosses the 10 before he is tripped up and downs at the 1-yard line. He fires up the home crowd and sets up an easy scoring opportunity. After a couple of stops, Montini brings in Nick Irian to take the third down snap. He takes the ball and follows a big push up front, falling into a dog pile in the end zone. After clearing away players, the referees eventually signal the touchdown. With the extra point, Montini is now trailing 10-7 with less than a minute left in the third. Following a Bennett 3-and-out, the Broncos are in possession again. Carbonara fakes to the running back, looks downfield, and he's got Florio wide open, and he catches it for the big touchdown. After scoring 2 TDs in less than 2 minutes of game time, Montini is now on top 14-10, just a minute into the fourth. Now with 6 minutes left in the game, the Red Wings have entered Bronco territory. Kubacki Jr. looks to his right and connects with Luke Wilds. He gains some yards after the catch and takes a hard hit, but he gives Bennett a first down inside the 10-yard line. On the very next play, Kubacki Jr. fakes the handoff and is under pressure immediately. He avoids a couple defenders, but Jackson Lane is able to jar the football loose, and a fellow Bronco recovers it. The costly turnover gives Montini possession with 5 minutes left to play. After forcing a punt, the Red Wings have a 4th and long scenario with the ball back near midfield. Kubacki Jr. drops back with an empty backfield, and he loads up and fires it, but it's deflected by a Broncos defender and falls to the turf. Montini regains possession with a little over 2 minutes to go in the game. Now with 30 seconds left in the game, Montini has a 4th and 15 at Bennett's 36-yard line. They run play action again, and Carbonara once more finds Florio downfield for a second TD of the game, and it puts the nail in the coffin. Montini win 21-10, hanging on to improve to 4-0 on the season. The 15th annual Wheaton Classic Girls Volleyball Tournament took place this week. 4 of our teams were competing, so let's check out some of the action. 2 premier volleyball programs meet up at the Wheaton Classic as the Bennett Red Wings face off against the Marist Redhawks. It's the 15th straight year of the tournament that either Marist or Bennett played for the championship, and the 5th time the two have faced in the final, with each team beating the other twice. Launching things off in the first set, Bennett's Gabby Stasis is set up well and spikes one to start the Red Wings up 3-1. Tied at 4-4, Marist receives a spike well, and Bella Bullington gets a kill and takes Marist's first lead of the match at 5-4. Leading 13-11, Marist shows off their defense as Hannah Hosty and Jessica Kerpakis shut down the spike attempt to take a 14-11 lead. 2 points later, Ellie Sternagel sets up Linny Tarnow, who stops the Marist rally and cuts it down to 15-12. Tarnow's spike starts a Bennett rally that accumulates to another great play from the sophomore, who puts Bennett ahead 17-15 with her block. Leading 21-18, Bennett runs their full attack, where Audrey S. Nielsen delivers a kill from the right side to extend the lead to 4. Marist gets another chance to get back in the set, but the Bennett defense holds to take the first set 25-20. Looking to bounce back in the second set, Marist sets up Bullington, who starts things off right with a spike down the right sideline. Tied at 6, Taylor Kunka's serve is all the Red Wings need to score as her ace makes it 7-6. Up 12-10, Bennett continues their serving success as Maris is unable to return a Nia Warren serve. A few points later, Tarnow comes up huge again as the sophomore's kill puts Bennett ahead 16-11. Maris looks to stay alive in the match as they receive Tarnow's spike and Brianna Hill responds with her own spike to cut it to 18-14. With Bennett leading 19-17, Sternagel stops Maris's rally in its tracks with a spike that inches the Red Wings closer to the win. Tarnow serving on championship point, and Maris's spike goes out of bounds, ending the set at 25-18 and granting Bennett the Wheaton Classic Championship. The Red Wings have won the tournament in back-to-back years now and improved to 15-1 on the season. After the break, we'll keep it indoors with some girls swimming. Then back to the gridiron we'll go to see how one son is following his dad's footsteps on the sidelines.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
When a bank helps you get and stay ahead, that's the BMO effect.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
We have some DVC girls swimming action on a Thursday afternoon. Welcome to Waubonsee's Aquatic Center, where the Warriors girls swim team hosts the Metea Valley Mustangs for the first time this season. The event starts with a 200-yard medley relay as the swimmers took off for their first 50 yards. Freshman Aubrey Talaga gives the Warriors an early advantage, setting up Kaylin Ball. The relay remains neck and neck in lanes 4 and 5 as it came down to Sarah Vokes and Anna Hunchura, but in the end, Waubonsee won the relay with a time of 1 minute and 56 seconds. Now we go to the 200-yard freestyle, where the race was once again a close one. It was down to 3 swimmers in lanes 3, 4, and 5, but the Mustang senior Emily Schalk edges out Waubonsee's Abby Brown and Isidra Pereira. We'll dive over to the 200-yard IM, where Metea Valley freshman Ellen Shua battles with her own teammate. Shua and Molly Schalk go stroke for stroke, but it's Shua who gets the win with a time of 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And now following the diving portion is the all-eventful 200-yard freestyle relay, with lanes 2 through 5 beginning with great entries. Setup Emily Schalk of Metea looked to be in control midway through the relay, but a late push from Warrior Ruby Meyer set up the 4th and final swimmer. Hunchuruk for the Warriors gets the win and finishes with a time of 1 minute and 44.42 seconds, and Metea's lane 14 gets second. And for the final event of the evening with the 400-yard freestyle relay, in which the Waubonsee Warriors took the lead and never looked back. Brown started things out as the rest of her team, Ball, Bella Pluti, and Caroline Nell, all coasted to the end with a time of 3 minutes and 57 seconds, 9 seconds faster than the next team. Waubonsee takes home the team victory with a final score of 193-172. John Parpet has been the head football coach at Metea Valley since 2019, but the Parpet family has been teaching the game for decades. Patrick Cotto has more on this father and son coaching connection in our latest feature story, sponsored by Edward Elmhurst Health.
Metea Valley football coach John Parpet enters his 5th season at the helm in 2023. This fall, a new assistant joins him on the sidelines, but this coach is far from a newcomer.
Come here, you. I gotta go. I will be there. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Paul Parpit, John's uncle, joins the black and gold to coach both the offense and defensive lines after decades as head coach at Addison Trail and Lyle. During Paul's tenure at those programs, John worked as an assistant. The two also coached baseball together throughout their coaching careers, but it's the game of football that flows through their DNA. With Paul entering his 50th season of coaching, it's now his nephew's turn to take charge.
Find a gap, hit it. That's your strength. Not going to overcoach it. Find an opening and hit it 100 miles an hour. I remind him all the time that I'm the boss. It's amazing how things kind of come full circle. He's the main reason why I'm at where I'm at in this profession, and how prepared I was for the job because of him.
Johnny and I are very close, and I enjoy working with him. I've coached baseball with him at a very high level at Addison Trail and at Downers Grove South. And then I coached football at Addison Trail with him for, whatever years, maybe 15 years, 12 years, whatever it is. And then 4 years at Lyle. I always promised that we would work together again, with him being the head coach.
Regardless of who's the boss, both coaches and family members are thrilled to reunite on the gridiron. With Metea Valley being John's first ever head coaching job, his uncle knew that there was excitement coming to the Mustang program after seeing the work John put in with the Blazers and Lions.
He came to my house and he said, Uncle Paul, he goes, I want to tell you something that I'm pretty proud of. He goes, I have an opportunity to be the head coach at Metea Valley. And I said to them, hey, they're getting a heck of a coach and a heck of a person.
The Parpit family working together is nothing new for this collection of football lifers. John's father, John Parpit Sr., was a longtime assistant coach under his brother Paul at Addison Trail, while Paul's son, Paul Jr., took over for his father as head coach at Addison Trail from 2010 to 2019. This season, the team record may not show the results just yet, but the addition of Paul has brought the fire to the Mustang offense.
Hey, new guy! That looked like a freaking athlete!
They are averaging over 144 yards on the ground per contest after years of struggling to develop a consistent running game. One of the most electric plays in the area this season was a Charles Flowers 75-yard touchdown run against Plainfield Central in Week 2.
Good play! Good job, boys! We're doing that after some very, very devastating injuries early on, to where everything that we worked on over the summer, we've had to kind of retool it on the fly. And that's where we go back to the earlier question of keeping things in perspective, making sure that we understand what our base fundamentals are, and being able to transition that to fit the personnel.
Despite their struggles in the non-conference slate, the Mustangs can build on the positives and focus on hitting their stride in the DVC. After 50 years in the game, including 200 wins as a head coach, Paul Parpit knows what it takes to develop a winning formula.
Punch! Nice job. Catch that sucker. There you go. Hey, good job. Football's won on fundamentals. You got to be fundamentally sound, especially against the quality competition that we play right now. Schemes are good, okay, but you got to have the fundamentals to perform the scheme. You understand? I mean, it's, everybody can sit and watch a TV program and think that they can go out and do that, but it's what you teach them. You got to teach them how to play the game the right way.
At the start of conference play, John and Paul hope the reunited Parpit duo can develop those fundamentals and light the spark to ignite Metea Valley football. For Naperville Sports Weekly,
pivot! Atta boy!
I'm Patrick Cotto.
We'll head to the links for this week's Girls Play of the Week, where Neuqua Valley's Rebecca Wu hits a beautiful flop shot. The Wildcats took on Naperville North at Springbrook Golf Course, and Wu's short game helped her team to a win. We're on the par 4 8th hole, where Wu finds her ball behind the highly elevated green. She flops this one to near perfection, landing it on the fringe and having the ball roll towards the cup. It tracks back to the hole but ends up just a little to the left. Let's take one more look at the very difficult shot. Wu didn't have much green to work with, but it didn't matter for the Wildcat as she was just inches away from holing out. She would go on to tap in for one of the best par saves you'll see and finish the day with a 42 overall score. Coming up next, we'll kick it over to the pitch for an update on our boys soccer teams. Then we'll check out some DVC golf action with the conference meet just around the corner.
He took his victims at night, and they were never heard from again.
We were there when true crime podcasts spiked your anxiety.
Maybe try binging something less intense next time.
We were there for that. And we're here for everything else. Here it's personal, because we get to know you.
Local news is your lifeline. Let the Daily Herald help you navigate your world with solid reporting, good advice, and a much-needed diversion or two.
We've got an Eola Bowl on the soccer pitch. Metea Valley makes the short trip down the road to Waubonsie Valley. Both teams come into this game with a win the day before. 4 minutes in and the Warriors are attacking. Lachlan Ladd makes his way into the box, getting a shot off on net, but making the save and covering is Ravi Shaw. 22 minutes to play in the half now. Michael Sinise gets the ball in the box, passing back post to Nicholas Villalobos, who shoots bar down, giving Metea the 1-0 lead. Metea looking for a quick second. Abel Lopez turns and has a shot from distance that is saved and picked up by Abraham Tiburcio. A minute to play before halftime. Anil Nishani cuts inside on his left foot, taking a shot that bounces in off of Ravi Shaw. The Warriors tie the game late on in the first half. Final chance of the half for Waubonsie. Lachlan Ladd sends a free kick into the box, finding the head of Jonah Griffinkamp, but making the save is Shaw. We go into halftime tied at 1. Metea starts the second half on the front foot. Anthony Hildreth takes a shot that deflects off of Cade Valek, but scrambling to his right is Abraham Tiburcio, making a huge save. Down at the other end of the field, Lachlan Ladd has a free kick just on the edge of the box. His shot on net is a tame one, easily collected by Patrick Maroney. Not long after, Michael Sinise dribbles into the box, taking a right-footed effort that sneaks in at the near post. That would be the game winner, as Metea Valley takes down Waubonsie Valley by a score of 2-1. The Mustangs move to 2-0 in the DVC, while the Warriors drop to 0-2.
Metea Valley and Naperville Central are hoping to get a round of golf in on a wet and rainy Monday, but a significant downpour causing flooding in various spots made things difficult for the golfers. So that forced a stoppage of play, and now the teams tee off for a new round of 9 at Orchard Valley on a sunny Tuesday afternoon. On hole 1, Central's Zach Boyton uses that day 2 momentum with the chip from the near bunker that takes a fast roll and slows up in time to go in for the birdie. What a way to start 1 under. Matt Sims gets off to a good start with a fairway shot that lands on the green at the same time as teammate Joe Cerny's. Sims golfs a round of 40. Speaking of Joe Cerny, here he is lining up his ball for par, and he makes it. Staying on the first hole, and more Redhawks continue to flap their wings. Clayton Schaefer is the next contestant with a par and goes on for a strong round of 39. Metea's Patrick Davis also starts his day even and finishes with a 40. To hole 6, and Mustang Charlie Flaherty's tee shot lands on the green and takes a small favorable roll. Flaherty pars it in from there. Zach Boyton continues to swing away in his strong outing. The tee shot takes a big bounce that inches near the pin, and he sinks another birdie. That helps him to a 38, his best round so far. Back to Cerny, who also gets a good shot off the tee, and his ball lands far from the pin, but stays on the green. Cerny leads the charge with a score of 36. More Central golfers with a good showing. This time it's Aiden Schultz who pars it in and finishes the day with a 41. We finish the par 3 with Raheel Shaw from Metea, who pars the hole and goes on for a 39. Flaherty is lined up for a super long birdie on the 9th hole. He thinks the tap will do the trick, but it just comes up short. He still ends his round with the same score as Shaw with a 39. They always say save the best for last, and that's the case for Kyle Bucher, who birdies and maintains a score of 41. Even with the late surge, the Hawks keep their good performance rolling with the Graham Kavanaugh par. Central takes it by 6 strokes despite the Mustangs golfing their best team score of the season.
We'll wrap up today's show after the break with this week's Boys Play of the Week. NCTV 17 is the place for all Naperville area high school football action, covering all 6 local teams. Whether you're a student athlete, parent, or just a fan of the game, stay on top of what's happening in your hometown high school football scene. Sign up for Football Friday today to get all the action delivered straight to your inbox on Saturday morning. Subscribe for free at nctv17.org/subscribe.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
When a bank helps you get and stay ahead, that's the BMO effect.
For this week's Boys Play of the Week, we'll head to Orchard Valley where Naperville Central Boys Golf took on Metea Valley. We have Red Hawk Zach Boynton hitting a wedge from just off the front of the green on hole 1. He lands the ball just on the putting surface and lets it roll out towards the cup. Boynton places it perfectly and the speed is just as good as the ball rolls into the bottom of the cup for birdie. We'll take one more look at Boynton's wedge approach as the Red Hawk used this shot to fuel himself to a career-low round of 38. And after that great chip from Boynton, it's time for us to swing on out of here. Thanks again for tuning in to today's episode of Naperville Sports Weekly. You can find all our highlights from the season as well as feature stories and community sports on nctv17.org and our NCTV 17 Sports YouTube channel. You can also find us on social media at NCTV17 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Joe Kennedy, and I'll see you again next week.